Welcome back to the Tide Hanger. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about something that I've been seeing going on lately in the community, and I see a lot less collectors. A lot of collectors are quitting the game. I've talked about this in the past, but I haven't really made a video discussing this and all of the different angles that are going to be involved with less collectors, but it is bad for the community. Actually, some people are celebrating as if it's good for the short term because they are benefiting. We as collectors are currently benefiting in the short term for this loss of collectors, but in the long term, it is going to hurt us. So we're going to talk about this and how less collectors in the masterpiece space is going to hurt us. And at the end, I'm going to tell you why they're leaving. I'm going to save that for the end. But all this is coming up. All right, first of all, I want to talk about the obvious benefits of collectors quitting, people leaving the game, getting out of this, and the benefit looks great that there are great prices and deals on collectors getting out of the game. Some collectors that are selling their collection sell it for a reasonable price, don't have to pay tax, and a lot of times they're not even selling them for an inflated price. They're selling them for either what they paid, less than they paid, and also if they're selling something that's pretty recent that's still at retailers for the most part, or distributors, they have to sell it less than the distributor's price. Distributors have them on sale right now, so you're getting deals if collectors are trying to tap out of this, especially if you buy an entire collection at once. Now, I kind of did that back in 2017 or 2016. I bought I think 11 or 12 figures for $750, and down the road, it turns out a couple of them were real valuable. I got that money back out of those figures. But for the most part, this is a really good way to build your collection, but it is a little sad seeing somebody tap out of collecting. The next positive of collectors quitting and having less collectors in the space, well, you don't have to fight for pre-orders as hard as you used to. And in fact, most items do not sell out pre-orders anymore. And I'm pulling up Fanstoys because consistently Fanstoys would sell out in a few days, some retailers in hours, and we're not seeing that at all. We don't see that at all anymore because we see collectors quitting the masterpiece space or just quitting collecting Transformers entirely. And that is a good thing for the fact that if you want to get it, you can get it. You can get your pre-order locked in. You could get it for the retailer price, but you don't have to pay a scalper on the other end or a reseller or something along those lines. But also I'm seeing there's less resellers. And well, when we get into the negatives, I will get into the negatives. I'm going to stay positive on the first part and say why people are kind of excited about right now about collecting that are staying in the game. But yeah, look at this. You can still get pretty much every pre-order. And we've talked about these weeks ago, some of these, and they're still up for pre-order. Well, yeah, the price might be part of that problem. But then we get into yet another issue, and I'm going to bring this issue up. I guess we shouldn't call it an issue. We should say it's a plus. It's a positive. But look at all the stuff that's in stock. Look at all the Fanstoys stuff that's in stock. Now, I could do this for X-Transbots and MMC, and not so much Takara, though, believe it or not. There's not a lot of Takara in stock at retailers sitting around. And that's just because of the way Takara plays their game. And they only put out a couple figures a year anyway. But with that, I'm not used to seeing this much Fanstoys. And I even made this comment 6 or 8 months ago, and it was part of another video. But it wasn't this big of a stock of figures that are back stock. And a lot of them are on sale, discounts, sales. And so with that, this is a positive for the collectors, but only for the short term. Now, one of the future problems will be that they will not make as many. Like, Fanstoys sees this, and there's a lower demand for the product. They're not going to be putting out as many figures. So they're not going to just keep flooding the market. If they normally make 6,000, they might start making 4,000. But I did get into a discussion the other day with how many are made for the Asian market and how many are made for US markets. And with that, this kind of blows my mind on they may produce way more than we think. And so all of the economics of third party is a little bit different than what we think. But anyway, looking at this though, they still won't produce as much if demand is decreasing. And of course, the orders from the retailers will probably be decreasing also. And with that goes a rise in price. And we already saw a rise in price in this, but it would be across the board on all these other figures. So the less collectors in the game equals a higher price. And eventually it gets back to, well, they had a time of artificial scarcity. I don't know if Fans Toys would ever bring that back. I hope not. All right, so the next negative, and it's long-term negative, but we might see it soon, is less competition. And less competition equals, you say higher price, but we need competition. We need more people competing. If the market is shrinking, there's less people that want to be involved, less people that want to compete. And with that, we don't get as high a quality products, we don't get as good of pricing, and we don't see as much product as often. Now, some people are like, well, I do like to have a kind of a break. It's nice to get a figure, maybe one every month or 2 months, and savor that figure. And I also agree with that. But in the future, could it be we only get 6 figures we want a year? Because that's where it could go. But anyway, looking at that, the obscurity of the characters with less competition is going to be another issue that we probably will see in the future. All right, so another major issue that's going to continue to have, we've seen this in the past, we've seen it right now. We're going to see more of these companies, since they're going to be fighting over a smaller market, they're going to be fighting against each other and trying to compete more with the same exact characters over and over and over. And it seemed like they were sort of getting away from it, but now it's right back into it. We saw it with the Ultra Madness, we saw it with the Perceptor, we're seeing it with this Devastator Wars, but we might start seeing it with absolutely everything, and that is going to be very frustrating. Options are good. I do believe options are good, but it would be nice to space them out, and, well, they are going to be spaced out, but they kind of act like they're coming at the same time. But this is going to be a real nuisance when maybe one of your favorite characters, maybe you're in for some new Coneheads. Why is nobody making those? But they're going to continue to try to cannibalize themselves over and over with every figure and every release. And we're seeing it right now. We'll talk about that in the news, but we're seeing it right now in the Legends scale with a Trailbreaker in New Age. But anyhow, just be ready for more of this going forward as the market shrinks. As the market shrinks, you're not going to have anyone to sell your stuff to. And I know that when you collect, you shouldn't be collecting for capital gain or monetary value, but at the end of this, when you want to stop collecting, you want to know that you can get at least what you put into your collection out of your collection. And if the market is shrinking, and if you got into this in 2020 when the market was at the height of the toy collecting market, then you try to get out in 2024, 2025 as it continues to constrict, then you're going to see that it's going to be harder to sell your stuff and harder to get out of it what you paid, or almost impossible to get out of it what you paid, depending on the character. Now, there's certain figures that are always going to command a hefty price, but this could be a major issue if you personally want to exit out of it, or if you just want to sell your old to buy the new. Now, a lot of people are saying, Mike, where are you seeing that the market is shrinking? And how do you know it's contracting? How do you know that people are quitting the Masterpiece game? Well, before I tell you why they're quitting, I'm going to show you how I know for a fact they're quitting. So we're going to get into that. So here's an indicator that I'm using, and it's not scientific, but I can tell you that MGO is the top Transformer guy around, Transformer YouTuber that's around. And when I go to look for views on videos, on reviews, to see collector interest, he usually gets 30,000, 50,000 views on a figure, and then his MP44 video got 1 million views, but I'm seeing 20,000. It's like almost hard for him to get 20,000. As good as he is, he's amazing. And as consistent as he is, and as big of a base as he has, he struggles to hit 20,000. And I went back 4 weeks. See, I wasn't looking at just this past week. I went 4 weeks ago to grab this screenshot to show it. And this is definitely no negativity on Imbo because he is awesome. This is just saying that there's just less people interested in this stuff. And there's proof. And another bit of proof, we just looked at this, but this much stuff lingering in retailers from fans' toys, this much stuff that's, a lot of this is even on sale. I mean, it blows my mind that this is even going on. This is definitely evidence that there are less collectors that are interested in this, buying this. And so I guess we have to get into why are there less collectors? That's coming up. First of all, we got all the people that jump ship to collect reaction figures. What? Nobody collects reaction figures? Okay. No, I'm just joking with that. The collectors that quit Masterpiece are going to mainline, and they're going to legend scale for a lot of reasons, but money and space are the top two reasons that they switch from Masterpiece and go to Legends. Some actually do have reaction, and by the way, I have almost all these. I missed the Devastator though. Some collectors are just kind of tired of collecting Transformers. I mean, that is something I'm seeing, and I'm seeing it with every single fandom. People get tired of collecting something, so they collect something else. Get tired of collecting Transformers, so they go and they collect G.I. Joe. Or they get tired of collecting G.I. Joe, and they go and collect Thundercats, or something along those lines. I do see this all of the time, and there's nothing wrong with that. And that in itself would be a very fun video. And if you have experienced that in the past year or two, that you kind of got tired of collecting one thing and started collecting something else, leave that in the comments below because it would help me for a future video. Alright, so I'm just going to say it. The number one reason that collectors are quitting is because they have other priorities in life that are far more important than collecting action figures and toys. And that's just the truth. And we are in a very tumultuous financial time frame. Some people are still doing very well. And for those of you, I'm very happy for you. But I understand that that's not the vast majority of people that are out there. And people are struggling. And even I don't have the budget that I used to. And with that, I'm pulling back quite a bit. And I'm not spending as much as I used to. And with that, I'm actually going to do a BBTS video. I haven't shipped a BBTS order in 3 months. And I used to ship it once a month. So that kind of goes to show that I'm pulling back, other people pulling back, and with that, it's the economy. And by the way, I just put this little chart together so that you can see that our GDP is that bottom, and then the top is inflation, and our GDP is only up because of rampant inflation, meaning that we have a technical down 7 quarters. One more quarter makes a depression. And no, I'm not upset about being in a depression. It's not good, but it's good for prices. And millionaires are made at the bottoms of markets. Just saying. Well, collectors are flying away from collecting Masterpiece Transformers for many reasons. There's a slew of reasons. There's no one silver bullet. But those of us who are left, we can still enjoy the current sales, the deals that are going on, the availability. But we have to understand that the future is going to hold more challenges that we're going to have to go up against as collectors. As the market shrinks and contracts, we're going to have to deal with all those issues. And for those of us that have been around collecting for a long time, we've actually seen this happen before. The 08s happened, the 01s happened, and whatever year that it just bottoms out, it's about to happen. But anyway, let me know what you think about in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Tydirium Hanger out.